Hello and welcome to a new episode of Pat's Chat. Today, I have the great pleasure to have Wuan Xin with me. She's the co-founder of AI Talents. So she's helping kids, young people to become entrepreneurs. Really an awesome topic to talk about today. Thank you very much, Wuan Xin, for joining me today.
Thank you, Patrick, for having me here. It's a pleasure to speak here.
Okay, great. Wuan Xin, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Where did you grow up?
Okay, I'm actually from Penang, so it's an island north side of Malaysia, like a small island. Right now, I think it's they were classified as the UNESCO heritage place. So there are a lot of heritage places there, and it's really a tourist place. But I grew up from there, so we speak Hokkien, which is a type of dialect there, and it's widely used the whole island. So if you go anywhere to have like food, you have to kind of speak Hokkien.
Especially the food, yeah.
yeah. When you have to order some food, yeah.
Nice island and great food there. Yeah, I always overeat when I'm there, but beautiful place. So you grew up in Penang. How would you describe yourself as a person, or how would other people describe you?
I just had an encounter. In fact, it was yesterday, so maybe I can share about that.
Yeah, sure.
So I was meeting my friend Jay Flores, and she mentioned to me like she feel like I'm very energetic. A lot of solutions I can. It's like I will put myself out there, and I get a lot of comments that I'm very passionate as well. Yeah, and I would say some of my friends who are introverts would see that my schedule would be too like frightening, overwhelmed for them, because I can have maybe 7, 8, or even 10 meetings in one day. So I talk a lot to a lot of people, but my quota of meeting people it's quite huge. So I'm okay to talk like a lot.
Okay, extrovert and energetic. Yeah, that's awesome. And I appreciate you found time today to talk with me about these topics. Yeah.
My pleasure.
You studied in Australia. Now this becomes like a pattern for the guests I have on the show. Like mostly they study in UK or in Australia. It's very interesting, and I always have to ask like, okay, why did you go to Australia? But for you, I would ask like, you studied environmental science, right? What was the motivation for you to study these topics?
Okay, so when I was 16, right? So I was in the class, and my teacher played a video by Al Gore. So the video it's called "The Inconvenient Truth." I still remember until now.
Yeah, I know.
And I remember because that was the first time I saw that video, and like my heart just sank, and I felt really bad. And that was the time when I'm like, why is nobody doing anything? That was the time when I think of that. So after the whole video is done, I started looking left and right, my classmates, right? Only a few of them that they felt something, and they started discussing about how can we do and everything. But a lot of them were just like that. They were writing on their notes. They don't really pay attention to what was happening, right? So actually, that incident was the day that I told myself that what? Why don't I find a way to save the earth? I was still 16, by the way. And then I was like, maybe I should do something about the environment, right? And that day, I actually went back and talked to my dad about this. That's when I decided I want to study environmental science once I graduate college. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So you mentioned that your bachelor in Australia. I saw you were working a couple of different jobs also in Sydney before you coming back to Malaysia, and started working here in Malaysia first. And
that's right.
But then I see, interestingly, you started as a research analyst, right? How did that fit into your target for like making the world better?
Right. So when I first came back, I was actually teaching special needs children, but that was in an NGO back in Penang. So it just happened that the NGO's the CEO, right, cousin is the my former boss, which is when I was a research analyst. Yeah, so they were cousins. So they introduced me to to my former boss, right? And that's how
Okay.
I actually landed the job. And just happened so his project at that time was Selangor recycling pilot project. So it's a recycling project, and that time I felt like maybe I should try this. Yeah, so that's how I started the joining the company.
Understand, yeah. And not long after that, you basically co-founded your first
Startup.
company also, yeah, a startup. Yeah, let's call it a startup, Food Ninja, which
Yeah,
had the
yeah, yeah.
target of zero waste, right? Zero food waste. What is
That's right.
what was the process you went through, like from being hired an employee and the idea of starting a company?
Right. Um, so when I was in Sydney, I joined this action. What do you call it? It's considered like a volunteer service, and they are called Aussie Harvest. So basically, they harvest those food, or no, they get the surplus food and they supply to the ones that need the extra food. So I was there volunteering a few times, and when I came back, I actually told myself, why don't I start something like that in Malaysia? And just happened so I met a bunch of friends, right? A group of friends that they want to start Food Ninja, and I was there. So I joined them as a founding member. Well, I was working as an employee. So it's like Monday to Friday kind of thing. I was a research consultant, but Saturday, Sunday, I handle my own startup. But that being said, I would say we need to respect our employer at that time as well. So I made sure I speak to my former boss. I told him about my startup. I explained to him, and I mentioned to him, how I would spend my time, just to assure him that I wouldn't spend extra time on my
Hmm.
startup. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would say that was pretty fun because just spending Saturday, Sunday working on my startup. It's a great learning curve as well. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Tell us more about Food Ninja. I mean, what was the how did you build the company? At what stage was it? Also, later you left the company. I don't know what happened with it, but what
Yeah.
can you like just like guide us a little bit through the journey of Food Ninja? Because I mean, the
Yeah. Sure.
idea is
Sure.
really a really nice one and shows a lot of social responsibility also.
So when I joined my three co-founders, they already co-founded Food Ninja for I think 6 months. Yeah, so when I joined, they have started some events. So the initial idea was to something like Aussie Harvest. We want to harvest surplus food and then give to the needy. And then we realized that this business model doesn't work because there are like Food Aid Foundation. There are a lot of organization that has been doing that, but there are not a lot of organizations that is doing the inedible food waste. Okay, for example, expired milk powder, Pringles that are expired, or even those organic food waste like our orange peel and all that. So nobody actually harvests those, right? So we decided, okay, why not we work on those that we cannot be eaten, and that's the way when we do the startup. The reason why we only work Saturday, Sunday because four of us we have our full time job
Okay,
and we
yeah,
can only work Saturday,
I
Sunday.
understand. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was quite fun because during the journey, we realized that egg milk powder can actually turn into animal feed, like fish feed. Even
Mhm.
Pringles, we can turn it into animal feed. So these are the things that we've never thought of. And we started connecting, farmers to, let's say, the milk powder manufacturer. So we started connecting people that. And at one point of time, we realized that this doesn't work because once we connect, and that's it. It's like how are I gonna monetize that, right?
Yeah,
So it's that we
understand. Yeah.
connect and then so it didn't
Mhm.
work and it's not sustainable. And that time we wanted to create the something like eBay but for food waste.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
However, the lifespan of food is still there, so it
Mhm.
didn't. Yeah, it just couldn't work. So in round, if I'm not mistaken, about 4 years ago, we dissolved the company
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
in a good terms, right? We realized that
Yeah.
we cannot continue when four of us are working full time.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. And any ideas like to grow something else from it? I mean, if the business model
Oh,
didn't work like from the money perspective, right? I think food waste is still a huge topic, right? Not only Malaysia,
yes, it
like
is.
globally,
It
right?
is.
Yeah.
That's a reason why we still keep our Facebook page alive.
Yeah,
Because
really.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
kidding. I think every 2 months or every month we will receive some message like, can I be your intern? Can I know more about you? So we still receive a lot of messages. So we were like, let's just keep it open. Maybe we can do something in the future. So
Mhm.
at the moment I don't have any idea yet, but yes, this is still something that I'm truly passionate about.
Okay, interesting. So maybe you can share a little bit more the experience, like when you figure out like this is not going to work out, right? Like how to make a stop, right? Because I think many entrepreneurs or
Uh,
many startups struggling with that. With exactly that, right? It's like when is the right time, or when do you not give up, but when you decide together, especially together with other co-founders,
mm,
right? It's like, okay, it's not working out.
mm.
Let's put a halt to it.
I think okay. So the trigger point was our main founder. He wanted to move to Johor, and that was kind of the trigger point where we sit down and we talk about it, and we say, since you're moving to Johor, and then the other two are getting full-time job, this and that, why don't we stop? And then we see if everyone agree, and indeed everyone agreed. So we proceed to dissolve it. Yeah.
Understand. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Okay, but this is the solving the company opened a new opportunity for you. Later, you started like that
Yeah.
company, AI Talents, and
Yes.
you told me the story before, like what was really the initial idea of AI Talents, and I really like that. So maybe you can share the story again, like with the audience
Right.
here.
So, okay, so I have to rewind a bit.
Yeah,
So I'll go back to how I met my business partner first
yeah,
before
sure.
I really started AI
Yeah,
Talent.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I met him in 2018, and that time he's a scientist, right? He's a psychologist, so he does a lot of research, and for him he did a lot of pilot tests, meaning he tests between different ages, different programs, and all that. So he has already an idea in mind, like what he wants to do. So when I met him, basically he has all the pilot test results. So after we had some working relationship, then he approached me and he said, "Why don't we start something?" Right? And it was so hard to understand. I have to say, even though he's my business partner, it took me a long time to understand what is his whole idea, right?
Yeah.
Because he has so many layers after that, and so many combinations, so many variables.
Mhm.
So in the end, I was like, you know what, let's do something that, if I don't understand, I think a lot of people out there wouldn't understand.
Because
So
the
can we do
idea,
something that,
yeah, because the idea
yeah,
was to predict, right? Somehow to predict which job would fit best to students, right? Was that the
correct.
initial
And that
idea, right? Yeah.
when he first mentioned, it was even deeper. It was
Hmm.
even deeper, whereby we want to incorporate some character building and all that.
Hmm.
Which, if you mention, "Hi, with parents, would you like to send your children to a character building class?" It's like, huh?
Yeah.
So it was not easy to let the parents understand,
Uh-huh.
right? And even, okay, we want to match your children with the career. It doesn't sound interesting.
Hmm.
So we brainstorm a lot. We tried different ways. We pivot a lot. Then in the end, we decided, why don't we get corporates to
Hmm.
actually guide the children, and this actually works. So when the children get feedback from the business owners, right? I really like what you did. This continue, but what you can improve is this and that.
Hmm.
Even though
Yeah.
maybe the coach will tell them, this is what you need to improve. They don't really listen. Even if the parents tell them, they don't quite listen to it. But when the business owner, when the expert tell them, you need to improve on this and that, they actually take the advice, they actually take the feedback, and they improve.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like more of like on the job finding your career path,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
agree with
right.
you. I mean, I remember when I was like at the age of, I don't remember exactly, 16, something like that, right? Then it's time to like figure out what you want to do in the future, right? If you don't know, then you visit like this career coach, maybe, you know, and then do some analysis. Maybe you fill out some tests, right? And with replying to 30 questions, suddenly they come up with a job, right? I don't know how they do that, but maybe today there's better tests around. But basically, if you can work on something, right, and you have a coach that really sees what you do on the job, right, it's the far better approach to really see the strength or the weaknesses and the interests of the kids also.
So I wouldn't say the assessment, it's not a good thing. I think it's still good to really understand where is that particular child prone to, maybe what is their potential. But for us, what we do is, okay, you say you don't like animation, right? Why don't you do it, and you will know whether you like it or not. So go and experience coding and tell
Yeah.
me if you really don't like. Because end up the ones that keep saying, I don't like, ended up like doing so much better than the
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So okay, let's go to the real business model of AI talents. You can explain that a
Sure,
little
sure.
bit, because it's a kind of a ecosystem, right? Bring the
Yeah.
kids together with the industry, and you manage that everything. The academy is involved. Give us a bit a summary and overview how you built the business around it.
Right. Okay. So maybe I explain the concept first.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, they understand Kidzania. So I use that as an example. So Kidzania is where you go, the children go in and they experience different jobs, right? In the actual theme park, right? So they go and experience, they try it out, they understand. So we are like that, but we work with real corporate partners. So meaning, let's say this time, right, we do a shoe project. So they learn how to design a shoe. They get feedback, oh, this design is not realistic. You need to add some shoelace on it so that the consumer be able to wear, right? So these are some realistic designs that they need to add in. So after a few industries, they would kind of figure out, oh, I'm more of the creative person. Oh no, I'm more of a sales person. Maybe animation is not my thing. However, I feel like I can do very well in terms of ideas. Right? So it's a way for them to explore. Now, in terms of my business model, how we work is we are a platform, meaning the coach, they have to pay a licensing program fee and the training fees to take our AI talent, and then they can start teaching to their students, right? And then we collect a percentage from every student. It's something like the coach are like our Grab driver, right? So they pay for the account, and then for every passenger they teach, they have to pay us a
Give
small
us
fee,
something.
right?
Yeah.
So we are basically a platform. In terms of the students, right? The students will join in a group of 5, so 5 in the team, and we call them a small little company. It's like a little company. So
Yeah.
5 in the company, right? So they have their own team name, and they work together. So this is how it works.
Yeah.
We realize that when they are a team, they will actually learn from many other teams, because there are so many other companies, small little companies out there. They always watch other team video and to improve on themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what we call the review session. Yeah.
That's awesome. And what I especially liked in one of your posts, I saw that, and I think it's also on the web page, is like you have that overview of like the soft skills, right? Because the biggest challenge is the soft skills, right? How and where do you learn those, And you have really a good overview of like, of course, on the job, you learn those soft skills, and that's a fantastic opportunity for the kids really to learn about that.
So maybe I can share a bit on that, the soft skills part.
Yeah, sure.
So we
Because it
focus
was not really a
on,
question, but I expect
but
you
it's
can
okay.
explain it. Yeah,
I was thinking, yeah, maybe I just add a little bit.
yeah, sure.
So we focus on the eight essential career skills, and that was actually
Hmm.
posted by Forbes magazine. That these
Oh,
are the
okay.
skill set that we need in a post-coronavirus world. So I'm just
Okay.
giving
Yeah.
you some examples out of the eight, like
Uh-huh.
emotional intelligence, leadership, data literacy, creativity, digital skills, coding skills, and all that. So these are the skill set that actually what our children need in the future as well. So in AI Thailand, we don't teach. We actually don't teach. They learn when they do the project. So it's a project-based learning.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Understand? Yeah, thank you. That's good. So you're building the teams in two age groups, right? If I
Yes,
saw
that's
that
right.
correctly, which are what 12 to something, or what are the
Okay.
age groups again?
We will call them like a primary group and a secondary group,
Hmm.
whereby the primary group meaning actually even 6 year old they can join
Oh,
around
wow.
6 to 12, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So they can mix around. We don't encourage all same age. Let's say all 6 year old, it doesn't work. All
Yeah.
12 year old, it doesn't work. So they mix
Ah,
around.
yeah.
Whereas the teenager, they can mix around in terms of like 13, 14, 15 in a
Yeah.
group.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so 6 to 12, and then teenagers, right? Well,
yeah, yeah.
how do
That's
you
right.
see how these groups perform differently? I mean,
Ooh.
what is the biggest what is the biggest differences that you see?
Okay, interesting. So for the younger ones, let's just call them the primary group, right?
Hmm.
So for the primary group, we realize that they are very creative, and don't be surprised because a lot of times when we want to announce the winning team or the shortlisted teams, this group are the ones that always being selected because their ideas, are really wild. They go crazy. They can think of things that we never think of, right? But on the other hand, we will see a better execution in the teenage group, meaning they might not have crazy wild ideas, but the way they execute things are much faster because they have already gained some network. They have more friends and all that, right? So I would say there are advantage and disadvantage, or there are strengths on each team. But what we focus on is, okay, you are primary, know your strength and use that. You are, even though you are in secondary, right? You know your strength and you use that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so the primary is more like the innovative, like with the
Yeah,
crazy
they're very
ideas, and
creative.
yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, awesome. So that makes a good mix in the end. And talking about mix, I was also wondering because you have a lot of girls also like applying and joining. Um, what is the ratio you currently have around? Is it like a 50-50 or?
Ooh, yeah, I would say it's about 50-50 in terms of students, yes.
Yeah.
But in terms of coach, I think because teacher is a female thing that a lot of female women we are teachers. So
Hmm.
hence in our my coach we have, I would say, 90% women and then
Oh,
ten
wow.
percent men. Yeah,
Okay.
so that is, I would say it's not only in Malaysia, we see the same scenario in Thailand and
Hmm.
also in Japan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So means
Interesting.
teacher, it's more like a female dominated career.
Mm,
Mhm.
okay, okay. But from the kids, like those who want to become entrepreneurs or join the program, you say it's like a 50-50.
Yeah, right now it's a 50-50.
That's
Yeah.
awesome to see, right? Because like later we see like more like the male like going to like the startup way, and then the female maybe more like on the employees way. How do you try to encourage also the kids, right? The young kids, the young girls, right? To go their path and move forward like on their way, basically.
Okay. So let me think, how do I structure my sentence? So
Sure.
for,
No
for us
problem.
for us we try not to discriminate between the gender, so we open up, right, the project for both. So we are happy to do that. Now, in terms of how do we encourage more female, for now, I'm actually looking at more female corporate business owners to join me so that we can, they can see, oh, now we learn from female entrepreneur. We also learn from the men, right? So we have a balance of both. But I do personally have another, I would say, a small project of my side. I do
Okay.
want to inspire more women to come up as entrepreneur. Because for me, I realized that I'm not sure is it just in Malaysia. We do have a lack of role model as women entrepreneur. I think a lot of women, once we have, let's say, we give birth and all that, it's a very natural thing that, we want to continue and take care of the family first, right? So that's when our priority change. So for a lot of female, maybe at some point of time they want to step out, they want to do something, but a lot of obstacles and a lot of voices in front of them that maybe I should just be an employee. I had similar feeling. I think when I was working as an employee, I do have this question in mind all the time, and I actually ask my friends, I'm like, no, why do humans have to work? and then I got like a lot of backlash. Like, well, you don't need to eat. Like, don't you need money to eat? Don't you need to survive? I get a lot of questions like that. But I think maybe I should have rephrased my question in a better sense. It's more like, why do I have to work in somewhere that it's not I'm not entirely passionate about? Why can't I do something that is contributing to the world? I think that would be the question that I actually wanted to ask.
Yeah. Okay. I understand the question. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think
So
I mean it's great to hear that, and I think you are one of those role models, and I think it's really great to
oh,
see people like you and more women that are really inspiring, doing a fantastic job, right? And inspiring young kids and especially girls to go a similar path, right? A similar career, and just try to become entrepreneur, start the company, and go that journey in the end. I think that's great to see that. Yeah. I hope I can
thank
find
you.
many more, to talk on the podcast. Sometimes it's also
Uh,
difficult, and we debated many times, why it's more difficult to find like female guests than male. Yeah.
oh,
But in the end, I think it's a question of time. You find them, and I'm always happy that they join also and want to share their experience.
right. But I have to say, being a women entrepreneur, I started seeing the advantage of being
Really,
a women
please share
entrepreneur.
with
Yeah,
me how you see the
I
advantages.
I didn't actually experience it until I think it was last year. So I did discuss with my business partner, right? Because I'm in the front line where I deal with a lot of men, and I also deal with a lot of women. Um, Somehow, when it comes to negotiation, it's actually easy for me to say something than my business partner, who is a man. Um, I'm not sure is it more of the gender position, but it seems like maybe women has this thing that would soften the other party. So for us, when we talk about it, it seems like it's more smooth. And if there are two alpha men in the same room, that will cause some clash, right? And not only that, because my whole team, right, we are all. I mean, as I mentioned, for people who wants to be a coach, most of them, a teacher, most of them are women. So my team, basically, we're all women. We understand each other and all that. So I did ponder about that. If let's say I'm still an employee, or if let's say I don't have the flexible time that I have now, what would happen in the future? For example, right now when I want to cook, I would kind of schedule my time such that it doesn't clash the time that I have to cook for my family, or even I can decide when I want to take off when I need to deal with something emergency. So this flexible time makes me realize that there's a lot of advantage to be an entrepreneur, especially a female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. You mentioned just before, like you're not only operating in Malaysia, but you had like your successes also in Thailand and Japan, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
What is the so far the biggest success in a project that you had? Like something that you really like want to share is like, wow, such a fantastic project that you did, or like the company
Okay.
helped to achieve it, basically.
Right. So we had a lot of projects before. I just hope, I want to make sure I take care of my take care of my clients as well. I would say every project has their special ring to it.
Hmm.
The one that inspire people the most, I would say, is the environment project, because that was the time when they started having awareness on what's going on in the world, right? So that started they started actually being very conscious and look at it. That would be the one that create the most awareness. In terms of the results wise, I can't deny it would be the ice cream project. So my students managed to sell more than 2,000 tubs, and that's just within how much? I think two and a half months. Yeah, they managed to sell 2,000 tubs in the total, and that is more than 30,000 ringgit. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
So
a lot. Yeah.
they learn, and we had, I think yesterday, I wanted to show you a video if possible after this. Yesterday, on Sunday, they actually asked, since we've been selling, can we continue to sell? Right.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when the negotiation came in, like, okay, sure, if you're in the shortlisted team, you are potentially getting the business license, but if you're not, feel free to reach out to us. Maybe we can talk a bit more. So the kids are actually looking at, can I make money? They are seriously thinking about that, like, oh, can I continue and sell because I can make money? And they're so honest and direct, like, yeah, I want to make more money. Okay. They are just,
Nice.
straight
So
to the point.
the real entrepreneur spirit come out right in the end.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What is next to come? What are the next projects that you can share with us?
Okay, sure. For the current projects, we have two in parallel. So one is the shoe design. We work with Indonesia business owner. So they have basically they do materials, they do clothing, they also do bags and shoes. So we only focus on shoe design. So in the end, they would manufacture it and the kids will learn how to sell it. Right, but they get to design their own shoe, so that is the fun part.
Okay.
The concurrent project that we in parallel, like we're having a sanitizer project, so we call nano disinfectant. So it's a nanotechnology disinfectant where the kids also get to learn how to sell and explain why is this different than the sanitizers out there. Right?
Okay.
And in the end, they are also going to get a distributor license, given there's a guardian taking care of.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Which brings me to the next question. We come to an end of the podcast. Where can people help you? Like, what is that you're looking most urgently right now? What are you looking for?
Okay, that's a very good question. I would give two sides, right? So let me start with the first part. So the first part that I'm looking for, it's more of education business owners or education centers. I'm looking to expand into Indonesia, Philippines, Cambodia, Korea, Taiwan, Australia. So those are the education partners that I'm looking for.
Okay.
But if you say corporate partners, meaning the ones that are running a business, I'm actively looking for someone who designs theme park. So let's say owners of theme park, that would be a very fun project to collaborate with the students. I'm also looking for a children toy designer. Yeah, so I'm actively looking for them in Japan actually.
Yes.
Because their educational toys are pretty interesting.
Okay.
I think these two would be the future plan that I'm focusing on.
Awesome. Yeah. What is the best way to reach out to you via LinkedIn or email, the homepage that you have?
Right. I think LinkedIn would be the best. Right. So that would be a good connection. My website would be good as well. So going
Okay.
through website or even Facebook page. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I will be sharing all the links so you can reach out to
Thank
Wuan
you.
Xin. And I hope you get what you just mentioned that you need most urgently very quickly so you can move forward with your project.
Uh,
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
As you
Patrick, for
expected, and
having
me
me.
too. Yeah, it will run out quite fast. Maybe you can you
Uh,
share like a last sentence, a last word, like a motivational, inspirational topic you want to share. Maybe for the kids that want to join or become entrepreneurs.
right. Um, for me, I would say, don't think too much. Just do it. If you don't do it, you don't know whether you fail or succeed. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
good. Good enough. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, sharing your experience, your
Thanks,
journey.
Patrick.
Awesome to learn from you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day, and I wish you all the best with your upcoming projects. And thanks for watching. To the audience, this episode was quite insightful. Makes me also very happy to see and learn from that. I hope you like that too. And then I hope also I can see you next week for another episode of Pat's Chat. Thanks, and have a great day.